Lecce go down, and there are going to be some players that are going to be there for the taking that are going to find work remaining in Serie A. Filippo Falco is certainly going to attract some attention. Riccardo Saponara is a Serie A journeyman at this point, probably going to stay. And as bad as he was, Kuma Babakar may end up somewhere with a Serie A team because he may end up having compromising pictures of club presidents and managers, for any other reason. God, he was terrible when he joined Lecce. And then you have Gianluca Lapadula. So there's a handful of guys here that, certainly are going to find new homes. Brescia, it's well done. Yep. Who's that?
Gabriel, keeper.
Gabriel, the goalkeeper, for sure. And then you have Brescia. We know about Sandro Tonali. There's a couple of other players in there in the mix that could possibly. Ernesto Torregrossa was really good. Patania's leaving Spal. So highlight. I mean, out of the three that are facing the drop, maybe some of these players here. Martino, start with you. Give me a couple players out of those three facing the drop, and where you think they'd fit.
Yeah, so I think Torregrossa is probably the one that impressed me the most because Donnarumma was actually the guy when Brescia was coming up that he was supposed to be the one making that kind of impact for them, and that could have possibly kept them up in the top flight for another year. But it just wasn't that. But every time we faced them, or anytime I watched them on the TV or ESPN Plus, it was him that was stepping up. So I don't know. Like sometimes you could see him maybe going to another squad like Sassuolo does. Do they get rated potentially somehow? Is that like a name they just pluck out of nowhere? Because they have Francesco Caputo scoring all these goals too, So what if De Zerbi wants to work his magic on him there? So I just think him. So maybe Gabriel as well. I just think there's so many good goalkeepers, and now we see how impactful they are. I think a lot more people are understanding that you could pick up 2 to 3 points here and there each match week if you have a great performance. So I think he's another guy as well.
Yep. Matt, how about you? A couple players from the three facing the drop that you'd like to see stay in Serie A and where you think they best fit.
Yeah, I think, Martino covered a handful of names there. I think they're all great shouts. And it's funny, too, because we talked about, Empoli, they were a team that got relegated last year. And, of course, obviously, Milan got Ismail Benacer from them. They got Rad Krunic. Hamad Junior Traore went to Sassuolo. So there's some talent in that squad. And, of course, as you mentioned, Caputo for €7.5 million, I believe, had a breakout season. So there's certainly value in a lot of these relegated sides, despite them making the drop, that can really make a difference for those teams that maybe lack depth or, they need another defender. Even Sabelli's another one who I thought was really good for Brescia at times. Balotelli, I know, everyone was banking on the Alfredo Donnarumma Balotelli tandem to maybe keep Brescia up. Maybe they'll score some goals. They'll let in a ton, but they'll be able to at least, shock some people. And I'm actually shocked that Lecce didn't pull this off because they stole points from Juve, Inter, Napoli. They were a team that really contested really heavily against some of the top clubs, and you thought they were maybe going to do it. But yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest things to watch here is a lot of these teams, aside from Tonali, of course, he'll obviously demand a big fee and a lot of attention. Inter and Milan seem to be fighting it out for him. But there's going to be a lot of these players that when you look back to, the market and then when the season starts, you're going to look, where did this player go? Where is this? Oh, yeah, like he was a huge contributor. And when it comes down to the strikers, too, I just want to briefly touch Caputo. When you have a player like a Lapadula, for instance, a journeyman who played at Milan, he played at some of these other clubs, and he had, I think, 11 goals in 25 appearances for Lecce, you maybe put him in a team that has a little bit more supporting cast. And maybe he is a player who can get 13 to 14. We saw what he did at Pescara years ago, winning the Capocannoniere down there. So there's definitely some value in some of these relegated sides.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on the same page. I think that the goalkeepers, Gabriel is a great shout. I think Joranen was very good for Brescia. I think that there were a lot of games that Brescia were closer in because of him. And I mean, it was a glaring difference in how that team defended when Andonacci was in goal for the space of a couple of games. Granted, one of them was against Atalanta. That's just going to happen. But they looked a lot less organized. I mean, my God, when you have Nikola Kalinic bossing the 18-yard area against you, you're not very good. And then, so Joranen is a guy that I think isn't going to have any trouble finding work if there's a goalkeeper that's interested in him, or if there's a team that's interested in his services as a goalkeeper, I should say. And I think that I'm on your side. I love the Torregrossa shout. I think that he's that striker that I think has the chance to be Francesco Caputo next season, depending on if he can land in the right spot. So I think some of these mid-table clubs that are going to be desperate for striker help are certainly going to, inquire of his services. So, definitely like all of those things that are being said there. So